So the results are in, and Janus v. AFSCME went through the Supreme Court 5-4, which means now that public sector unions cannot force its individuals to join a union. They cannot force their workers to join them. They now have the option of paying union dues or not. And, well, what does this mean? So if you don't know what this case is about at all, besides that, I will leave a link in the description to a video I did last year where I basically just laid it all out and said, this is what this means if it passes or fails. And then at the end, I said, this is what I believe. Here's the opposing argument. Here's why I think the opposing argument's wrong. I think I did a good job of being relatively non-biased. But anyway, on to now. So I think this is a good thing. This is what this video is. I will advocate for why it is a good thing as a worker that's part of a union, not a public sector union, but part of a union, why this is a good thing. So first thing, this is not a pro-worker versus anti-worker issue. I hate that. SEIU, the union I'm forced to be a part of, said, hey, if you don't agree with us, you're an anti-worker extremist. Anyone against us is an anti-worker extremist. And I just want to get that out of the way first. This is not pro-worker versus anti-worker. That's just the wrong way of thinking of it. Because one, who's on the side of Mark Janus? Well, you've got the big corporations, or some big corporations, and you've got workers. Just because there are big corporations that are part of it does not mean there are plenty of workers that are like, yes, I am on this side. Obviously, it is good for certain corporations, but it's also good for certain workers depending on what the workers want. So the way this works is basically there are some benefits that workers don't want. There are some benefits that workers want over others. This is not a simple issue of this is what's best for workers, this is what's worst for workers, and we want to get to the top because people value different things subjectively. So I know there was some surveys people went down to, I think it was Guatemala, it was a Central American country, and basically said, you're making pennies a day, terrible working conditions, what do you want? And most people said they would rather take a few extra pennies a day in salary. They would rather have a salary boost than a boost in working conditions. And that's the thing, like some workers did want the increase in working conditions, especially in America. You have a lot more people that would say, I would sacrifice a small pay increase for better working conditions. And others would say, no, I'm fine with the working conditions. I want more money. I want more pay. And that's the thing. It's going to cost the company a certain amount for this. So it's not like they can just give out all this stuff equally. It's that some stuff is valued over others, like a pay raise versus better working conditions. So that's up to the workers to decide. It's not a simple, like, this is what's best for workers, and if you disagree with us, you're a horrible person, you're anti-worker. That is not how this works. Second, this was, I guess, a free speech issue was how they determined it, how the Supreme Court ruled this was free speech because you're giving money to a union, the union will engage in political action. And because of that, like that's money is speech in a sense, that they are funding political actions. Now, I don't really see this as a free speech issue. I don't know the legal aspect of it really. Apparently it is based on 5 Supreme Court justices and not so on 4 Supreme Court justices, but I don't see this as a freedom of speech issue. I see this as freedom of association. So basically we have 3 groups here. We have the employer, the employee, and the union. I think it is, like, I don't see why this is an issue as for an employee to say, I want to form a contract with this employer, but I don't want this third party involved. To me, that's just basic freedom of association, that I can make a contract with this other organization, meaning my potential employer, and I don't want the union to get involved. I think that is perfectly fine. That is perfectly reasonable to say, hey, union, I don't want you involved. Now, some people will be like, yes, I want the union involved, in which case, great. You can bring in a third party. That's awesome. But that's the thing, choice. Choice for the worker. I think, I'm not going to call it pro-worker, even though I think it is, because, again, we want to dispense with that whole pro-worker versus anti-worker thing. But I want that choice. I want the choice of saying, I don't want this union involved. And that's my choice. That's the choice of the worker to make that opportunity. You can say it's a good choice. You can say it's a bad choice. But that's the thing, the freedom to make choices, even stupid choices. The freedom of an individual to make a choice. So that's my thing, that union or that workers should have that choice. Now, the thing on political speech, like they were saying, oh, the argument to that, if we are to go to the political speech thing, is money, union dues, and that. I get the argument that, like, people come back and say this isn't political speech, like, because generally or members of a union that don't want to pay for the political speech, they can pay just the base union dues. The money they pay as a union due is not allocated towards political speech. I get that. But the thing is, that's not how it works. So take, for example, There's something you want to buy. You personally want to buy a rather expensive thing, but you have to pay rent. You can't afford it. You have to pay rent. Now you have a roommate. The roommate says, "Hey, I recently came across some money. You know what? I will cover your rent for the next 2 months. Like you've been great to me. I will cover your side of the rent. You don't have to pay rent for 2 months." So now I can say I've got a ton of money that I didn't have to pay to rent. So I can now buy that thing I want. So basically what happened was your roommate bought you that thing. It's not that he actually went out, took the money he had and paid for that thing. It was that your money would have originally gone to paying rent, but now because of this guy paying rent, because of your roommate paying rent, you can now allocate this money towards something else. So the way it is if a union is getting plenty of union dues, they can spend more money on political action. If the union is not getting enough to cover basic union dues, instead of paying for political action, they will pull that money to cover their basic expenses. So in a sense, yes, even though you're paying just union dues, that money can still go to political action. So next up, I see people that I see all these union advocates, and I'm not anti-union. I am pro some unions and anti other unions. It's just that I want the right to join a union. There is nothing more insulting to me than a union saying, "We are here to help. I am here to help you. I am here to do what's best. All I ask in return is just a little bit of dues to cover expenses. I'm here to help. And if you don't like it, too bad." It's just hey, we're here to help, but if you don't think we're helping, too bad. You have to pay us anyway. To me, that is a punch to the gut. I should be able to decide if you are helping me or not. I should be able to decide if I want to join you or not. To me, that to say that you don't have an option, you have to fund us, and we're going to help you, that just seems so, I don't like that mentality at all. It's saying, no, I want to make the choice. That are you really helping me if I am telling you straight to your face, you're not helping and I want out? That's the thing. I don't think it's supporting those workers that want out. And to put those workers, to put the values of the workers, of those that are gladly paying union dues above those that don't want to pay, that just seems ridiculous to me. Why is that better for those people? I don't like that. But and then there are other people that say, when I said I don't want the right to join, there are people that say, if you don't like it, you can quit. If you don't like being part of a union, find another job. And that just seems so heartless to me. Again, you're supposed to support the workers, and here you're saying, if you don't like it, leave. Get another job. We are fine with you losing your job if you don't want the union. I don't like that at all. I don't like that. I want what's best for the worker. And it just seems to me that, if the best way to do that is to let each worker decide what's best for them. And I get that unions want to help workers, but they can help workers voluntarily. The workers that want to support them will do so. Now, the last thing I want to hit on is the free rider problem. That's the biggest rebuttal to this, is that there will be free riders. There will be people that are gladly benefiting from union dues and are not paying. They're like, yes, I want these benefits. I am getting them, but I'm not paying for them. That is a legitimate issue. I will be perfectly honest. That is a legitimate issue. There will people that will freeload off of this. And that just seems like a rather minor issue compared to, again, freedom of association, freedom of the worker to decide what they want to join. That is up to the union. That is up to the union to say, we are great, and here's why you support us. This is a fundraising thing. If the union is doing fine, they're getting tons of money, they're doing what's best for the workers, then okay, there are some freeloaders. Big deal. If the union's doing fine, then what's it matter if there's a few freeloaders? They could do a bit better, but they're doing fine. Now, if the union isn't doing so well, if they're just barely scraping by, if they're going to go away and they need dues, those freeloaders are going to have to decide, hey, I like these benefits, I want to keep them, I will contribute. Or they can say, you know what, these aren't worth it. That's the ultimate decision here. That these people are looking and saying, is the union worth it? I don't have to get 50% of the vote. I don't have to put it up to I don't have to send around a petition. I personally can decide if the union benefits me. If it does, I can pay union dues. If it doesn't, I won't pay union dues. That's my opinion. It works best individually. But that's my thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. I could be wrong. For who knows, I could be wrong. I want a discussion here. Start a discussion in the comments. Leave if you think I'm wrong. Tell me why. If you think I'm right, tell me why. If you think someone else in the comments is wrong, tell them why and be nice. Don't be terrible. We're all on the same side here. We are all pro-workers. The people watching these videos probably aren't big corporations. They're probably individual workers that care about this case and want what's best for them. Have a nice discussion. like we're all on the same team here. That's what I don't like about, again, the pro worker versus anti-worker. All the workers here want what's best for them, and there are workers on both sides. So let's have a discussion. Let's figure this out. Let's really just have a discussion. But like the video if you enjoyed. If this was thought-provoking, like the video. Subscribe for more. Again, there's another Janus v. Ask Me video I did last year, just on the case, on what it would mean if it passed, what it was about, and I'll leave that in the description. But yeah, like the video, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.